You know that feeling, right? The first scorching hot day of summer finally hits, you confidently flip the switch on your AC and you get nothing but warm, stale air. It's a feeling of dread we all want to avoid. So today, we're going to dive into a super simple 15-minute checkup that'll keep you cool and could literally save you a fortune.
So, let me just ask you straight up, is your system actually ready to go? Because finding out you've got a problem when it's already 90 degrees outside, well, that is absolutely the most expensive and sweaty way to do it. A few minutes of prevention right now makes all the difference. And that's really what this is all about. We're talking about really basic maintenance that stops the most common failures in their tracks. You don't have to be an HVAC pro. This is just about being a smart homeowner. Okay, so to get our bearings, you just need to know the super simple layout. Most homes have what's called a split system. You've got that big metal box humming away outside, that's your condenser. And then there's an indoor unit, the evaporator coil, which usually sits right on top of your furnace. We're going to take a quick look at both. First up, let's head outside to that condenser unit. This is the workhorse. Its job is to dump all the heat it's pulled out of your house. So making sure this thing can breathe is priority number one.
All right, the very first thing to do is wake it up from its long winter nap. If you put a cover on it, get that thing off. Clear any leaves or sticks off the top. Then, head to your electrical panel and flip the breaker labeled AC or condenser back to the on position. And here is a pro tip. Don't wait for a heat wave. Test it on a nice, mild day. That gives you plenty of time to fix any little issues you find, stress-free.
Now, for what is probably the most important outdoor task, giving that coil a good cleaning. And listen, safety first. You absolutely have to turn the power off again. Right next to the unit, there's usually a little box with a pull-out handle. That's the disconnect. Or just flip the breaker off again. Once it's dead, pull out any big leaves from inside and then just grab your garden hose and gently rinse all that dirt, dust, and cottonwood fluff off those metal fins.
And this is so important. Please do not forget this. Do not, under any circumstances, use a power washer for this. Those little metal fins are super delicate. High pressure will bend them flat and that chokes the airflow and basically kills your AC's ability to cool. All you need is the gentle pressure from a regular garden hose. Think spring shower, not fire hose.
Okay, here's a little insider tip for you, and it's a huge one. More often than not, the thing that fails on an AC unit is a tiny, pretty cheap part called a capacitor. It's a little silver can inside the electrical panel that gives the fan and compressor the jolt they need to get started. They tend to die on the hottest days, so just knowing what it is, or even having a spare on hand, is a game changer. While you've got that electrical panel open, just do a quick safety scan. You know, mice and other critters love to build nests in there, and that's a fire hazard. Check for any wires that look cracked or have bare spots. And here's another great little trick. If you turn the unit on and the fan just hums but won't spin, sometimes it's just a little stuck. With the power off, a gentle push with a long stick is often all it takes to get it going again.
All right, the outside unit is clean, it's clear, and it's ready for action. Now let's head on inside for the second half of our checkup.
And you know what? The indoor part is actually even simpler. Your whole job inside comes down to just two things: making sure water can flow out and making sure air can flow in. If you get those two things right, you've already prevented like 90% of all the common indoor problems.
So let's talk water first. Your AC is basically a giant dehumidifier. All that water it pulls from the air drips into a pan and goes out a little drain line usually made of PVC pipe. The problem is that line can get clogged up with algae and gunk. If you see puddles near your furnace or smell something musty, that's your sign. The fix is so easy. Once a season, just pour a simple solution of bleach and water down the line to keep it clear.
Okay, deep breath. We've arrived at the single most neglected, most forgotten, and yet most critical task in all of AC maintenance. This one thing is the #1 cause of system breakdowns.
Yep, it's the furnace filter. It's so simple, but people always forget. A clogged filter will literally suffocate your air conditioner. It can't breathe. And when that happens, the indoor coil can freeze into a solid block of ice. So here's the rule. If you have one of those skinny 1-inch filters, you have to change it every single month in the summer. No excuses. If you have one of the thicker 4-inch media filters, you're usually good for about 6 months. Seriously, don't skip this.
And all this talk about filters and cleaning coils really brings us to the one golden rule for your entire heating and cooling system. If you remember nothing else, remember this: airflow is everything.
And the easiest way to remember the golden rule of airflow is with this one simple fraction.
1/3.
So what on earth does that mean? It means you should never, and I mean never, close more than 1/3 of the air supply vents in your house. I know it seems like a smart way to save money by not cooling rooms you don't use, but what you're actually doing is choking your system. You're creating back pressure that can damage the fan motor and lead to some really expensive repairs.
So when you boil it all down, you're really just fighting 3 main enemies of airflow. Number 1, the dirty filter we just talked about. Number 2, blocking the return air grills, the big vents that suck air into the system. Never, ever put a bookshelf or a sofa in front of those. And number 3, closing too many of those supply vents. Your system has to be able to breathe in and breathe out freely.
Okay, let's wrap this all up. We've covered a lot of ground, so let's put it all together into a super simple, can't mess it up final checklist.
Seriously, if you only have 15 minutes to spare this weekend, these are the 4 non-negotiables. 1, go outside and give that condenser unit a gentle wash. 2, go inside and swap out that dirty old furnace filter for a clean one. 3, pour a little bit of that bleach solution down the condensate drain line. And 4, test the whole thing before it gets hot just to make sure you're good to go.
See, it's really not that bad. So I'll just leave you with this one last question to think about. A simple 15-minute checkup this weekend, or a sweaty, miserable $1,000 emergency call in the middle of a July heat wave? I think the choice is pretty clear.